Hi, this is Laura from St. John the Baptist Parish Library, and in this video, I'll be starting a new series on how to use Canva rather than how to use Photoshop like I've been previously doing. I feel like Canva is more of an open, um, I feel like Canva is more open with a lot more options on how you can use it than Photoshop is, and it's also a lot more accessible. So I'm going to start showing you how to use that today. The first question is, what is Canva? Well, Canva can be used for a lot of different things. Canva can be used for making logos, making greeting cards, making social media posts, editing videos, making slide decks for work. So there's a lot to cover, and I'm only really going to be able to cover the basics in this video. So I'm going to show you basically how to use different aspects of the interface, how to use it for a couple of different things, and most importantly, all the different tools that you can use once you open up a blank document. So let's get started. The first thing that you need to do is you need to sign up. So as I'm showing you, you just click the sign up button. Um, there's a lot of different accounts that you can link it to so that you don't have to make an entirely new account, or you can start with your email. I'm going to make a new account. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to use my work email, and then you make a username, and then it's going to send a code to your email. So I'll go ahead and open up my email and check for the code. And then once you get the code, you'll just copy it, or you can remember it and type it into the box. And then it automatically signs you up for an account. And then it'll ask you a couple of questions, what you'll use Canva for. Um, it'll ask you if you're using it for a nonprofit or charity, a small business, etc. And so you just pick the ones that apply to you, and it'll kind of personalize. You still have access to everything, but it'll kind of personalize what is shown to you. Same with this, what you'd like to focus on. I'm going to put photo and video editing, planning events, learning to design, social media content. And then once you pick the ones you like, it'll show you, it'll try to get you to sign up for Canva Pro. I do use Canva Pro on my regular account, but you don't have to. Like I said, this is a very accessible tool, so you still have access to lots of different things without having Canva Pro. So you just click skip, and then you are sent to the Canva homepage. So now that we're on the homepage, let's talk about what is here. What can you do starting from here? Obviously, there's the toolbar all the way to the left where it says Home, Projects, and all of your content will go there. Templates, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Brand kits, which is a Canva Pro tool. Apps, you can connect it to like MailChimp, Google Docs, things like that. And then the Dream Lab. So let's go back to the home page. There's lots of different options in this toolbar as well. Different types of canvases that you can start with and build from. So as you can see, there's a lot of different options. There's different sizes of canvases that you can use, and it'll set it up for you. Facebook posts, Instagram stories, A4 portrait, desktop wallpaper, a bookmark, lots of different options. And you can also use a custom size. You can make your own size for your canvas. Um, but I will be using one of the templates just to start off with. So let's go back to more. And then I am going to pick a template to start off with. It's just a sizing tool for the canvas. So I'll start off with a card, which is 5 inches by 5 inches. And then you can see once you start a new account, it'll kind of give you a tutorial as you go, but I'm going to tell you how to do it. So I'm going to skip that for myself. But if you want to go through that when you sign up for an account, you obviously can. But clearly it starts you off um, with something in the left, templates, just based on the fact that you're picking a card to use. It'll start you off with like birthday cards and get well soon cards and things like that. Go ahead and name your document where I did just now, and I named it to test. But if you go to design, it'll give you templates, and you can scroll through. The ones that have the crown next to them are Canva Pro designs. So you do have to upgrade to Canva Pro to use them, but as you can see, there's a lot of different ones that aren't Canva Pro. So I'll choose this Get Well Soon card, and you just drag it into your canvas and it's automatically there. So when you're using a template, you can completely customize it to whatever you want. You can move things around. Nothing has to stay the same. It's just like a starting point for you. So you can change the font, you can move the elements around, you can delete things, you can move things. But for my purposes, I want to kind of show you how to use everything from scratch. So I'm just going to go back to the blank document and we'll start going through this toolbar. So to the left, we have the elements section where they have shapes, graphics, stickers. There's an AI image generator. I am going to go through the shapes. I'm just going to pick a circle. And then it starts it off as a text box. So I'll type in test. You can change the color of the circle to whatever you want. You can use gradients too instead of just solid colors. That's what I'll do. And I'm going to pretend like I'm making a birthday card. And I'll type in happy birthday and I'll change the font. So you can kind of scroll through the fonts to see what you want. I'm going to go with this cursive font, and then you can make it bigger. Obviously the text is stuck within the confines. I'm also going to change the text color. But obviously the text is stuck within the confines of the shape, so I'm going to make the shape bigger so that I can make the text bigger. And then you just make it as big as you want it. Going back to the Elements tab, you can see that they give you magic recommendations based off of what you've already done. So all of this that they're giving us kind of matches the color scheme, the vibe of just the circle that says happy birthday that we have on the page. So let's say you want to go in and look for birthday related graphics. Right there, they have a bunch of stickers that are birthday related. Again, the ones with the crowns are Canva Pro, which just means that when you drag it in, it'll have a watermark on it. You can still use it if you want to. But this is what the free graphic will look like. It won't have a watermark on it, and it'll be completely clear and ready to go, ready for you to use. So you can kind of drag that wherever you want. You can make it bigger, make it smaller, rotate it. Or you can delete it. I'm going to keep my circle in the center, and I'm going to go back and look at the types of things that they were recommending to us. So I'll just go to graphics, and then I kind of want to stick with the gradient theme that they gave us. So I'll go and put some gradients in there. I'm just going to kind of drag whatever I see and like into the canvas. It doesn't have to have any rhyme or reason because I can always move stuff around later. So I'm going to go through the magic recommendations and the gradients. Um, and I'm just going to keep finding stuff that I like, moving it around as I see fit. So I kind of just picked a couple of things that I liked. Obviously, it kind of looks a little bit crazy now. I mean, there's lots of different things that you can use in the Elements tab. There's audio and video, charts, polls, quizzes, tables. Um, there's frames. I'll show you how to use a frame real quick. So you'll just drag the frame or click on it and add it into the canvas, and then you can go to photos and just drag the photo into the frame and it frames it. So there's lots of different frames. There's like more design based frames too that use that look more artistic. Or there's just the basic square, whatever you need for your purposes. But now that we have everything in here and it looks a little crazy, I want to move stuff around and kind of make it look better. Um, so I'm going to click on one of the elements, click on layer, and then show layers. And then it kind of shows you where everything sits in the document. If you watched any of my Photoshop videos before, um, Photoshop uses layers as well. So obviously I'm going to move the happy birthday up to the front because we want to be able to see the text, but everything else I can kind of move around where I want it. Even that I can move in front of the happy birthday because it doesn't cover it completely. So it doesn't really look bad in front of it. But you do have the option of moving it behind. Again, this is whatever you want. You really have a lot of freedom with Canva. So I'm kind of happy with this. I mean, it's just a test. It doesn't have to look perfect. So I'm going to show you how to do a couple of other things. Let's move on to the text tab. So you can add a plain text box, but they also have font combinations that you can automatically use. So there's this one where it's a combination of a bunch of different fonts. So if you just type straight into it, it's not going to adhere to the style that it had before. So you kind of have to go in and type each letter individually. So I'm just trying to type Canva. But a lot of the other ones that they have available to you are simpler. So if it's just one plain font or two plain fonts, usually it'll have them separated so you don't have to worry about that. And you can just type in what you want and it'll automatically be set for you. But I chose this one because I thought it was fun. And then obviously you can see that there are little guidelines that help you center things and move them so that they look visually appealing. This is what happens when you pick something that is Canva Pro. It'll just tell you to sign up or do a free trial. But they have lots of different font options. And then there's also a lot of things that you can do with not just the font, but with the text itself. As you can see, there's a text toolbar. So let me get rid of that Canva, and then we'll pick something else. Let's start a new text box and type in what you want. I'm just going to type in test, make it bigger so that you can see it. Do testing instead. And from there, you can change the color. Like I said, now there's a photo colors. Now that we've added more elements into our canvas, it gives you colors that are picked straight from some of the graphics that we've used. I'm going to pick this green just because I like it. And then you can do a lot of different stuff with it. Let's see. You can make it all uppercase automatically just with that button. You can do a strike through. You can do an underline. Some fonts don't let you do bold or italics, but you can. You can do bulleted list or a numbered list. You can change the alignment of it so it's centered or it's to the right or to the left. There's different typography and text position options. That's obviously more important when you're writing paragraphs, but you do have that option. And then if you go to transparency, you can make the text, you can change the opacity on the text. And if you go to effects, this is really the most used ones. They have a lot of different style effects. So I'm just going to go through them real quick. There's a shadow, a lift, for bolder fonts, and for this one, but for mostly for bolder fonts, you can make the font hollow. You can do a splice. You can outline the text and you can change the color of that outline to whatever you want. You can do a glitch. So that's kind of like that 3D effect. You can make it look like neon, and you can change the intensity of that. You can give your text a little bubble or a background, and you can change the roundness of that bubble, the spread, and the transparency, and the color. You can make the font curved, so like this is in a circle, obviously, and then you can change the curve so that it fits the shape. So, like I said, this is a circle. If I wanted to go around the bottom of the circle, I can do that. But I think I'm just going to leave it straight. I do like the neon though, so I'm going to leave that. You can animate the text. This is more relevant when you're doing things like making GIFs or videos, mostly videos. But you can animate the text if this is going in like an Evite or something like that. There's lots of different animations that you can use. I'm just showing you a couple of them. If you've ever used PowerPoint before or Google Slides, this should be familiar to you because these are options for what you can do on the slideshow as well when you make a slideshow in Canva. And then there's the other tabs like brand kits. This is again a pro feature. If you have a company and you want to save the colors and things like that, you would use the brand tab. There's uploads. You can use this for free. You can upload photos and videos and audio and things like that. That is how I edit my videos. I edit my videos in Canva, and you can upload through a bunch of different options: Google Drive, Dropbox, Instagram, Facebook. You don't have to do it straight from your computer or your phone. There's the basic tools, drawing, shapes. There's just like shortcuts, lines and text and tables. That is what a table would look like. A basic table. I mean, you can edit it in Canva, so I'll just fill it out real quick just so you could see what it would look like. And then projects, you can create a folder in your projects, and so I'll make one real quick just as a test. And then you can share it with people if you want. So if you're working on a team, you can put emails in there, or if they have Canva accounts. And then I'm going to drag this card into the test folder so that next time I open up a project, if I want to reopen this, I'll have easy access to it. So back to our home page, I'm going to show you how to do a couple of other things. Let's get into templates for a little bit. Templates are really the biggest thing that I think Canva has to offer, because you don't have to start anything from scratch. You can use lots of different templates as a jumping off point, and they have great options both in the free and pro versions. So let's say that you need to make a pie chart for a presentation at work. They have so many pie chart templates, both free and pro, for you to choose from. And you really would just have to click on it, open it, and then change the information. Same thing with a resume. If you need to make a resume and you don't know where to start, they have templates for that. Scroll through, and they have lots of different templates for lots of different types of jobs. So some of these are obviously more professional looking, and some of them are more creative looking. Depending on what you're applying for, employers are going to be looking for different styles. So let's stay on the resume. I think I want to show you how templates work by filling out one of the resumes. This one's a pro, so we can't use it. Let's keep looking. Also filters, what size you want it to be, what style, colors. There's lots of different filters that you can put on it. Same with the categories, the different sizes. Let's try this one. So you would just open it up, and then you would click customize this template. It would open it up in a new canvas for you. And then you would just go in and you would type in your name, your job, or the job that you want, the job that you're applying for. And then you would just go in and change all of this information to fit yours. And again, you can move things around. You don't need to keep them the way that they are. This is just a jumping off point. And then once you're ready to download it, you would just go to share and then download. You can also print with Canva. That's something cool that they offer. You can choose what kind of paper that you want to print it on, and then how many that you want, and it prices it out for you. And then you can get these delivered to your house, kind of like you can get business cards, and you can get invitations. but you can get resumes too. You don't have to print them. You don't have to have a printer at home. Obviously, you can also come into the library and print these things, but Canva does have that option as well, and they'll sometimes give you envelopes if you choose. So another thing that you can do, just to go back to what we've learned, if you have a logo, obviously if you have one, you would upload it. But if you want to make one real quick while you're in here, you can make one. I'm just gonna do like a little test. I'm gonna do a circle by searching logo, and I'll move it there, and then I'll go to the text and I'll find. Um, I actually think that I want to use one of the special font combinations. So let me just use this one. So this is what I meant earlier when I said the different fonts are separated usually. Um, so you don't have to fool around with it too much. So I'll just put your logo. I'll make it smaller. And then I'll drag it up to the circle. So that's an easy way right there just to personalize this resume. Make it stand out. Is just make a logo in the document. You can also do slideshow presentations like for work. It automatically comes up with a bunch of templates. I'm just going to pick one. And then you add pages at the bottom. You can change the font and the colors. But you can also, it gives you a bunch of different pages to use. If you click apply all 18 pages, you have all of the different slides that it has to offer. So you really can just go in and you don't have to start from scratch. You can just fill in the information so that if you're not a design minded person, you don't have to waste time trying to figure that out. You can just fill in the information that you want. You can also present it while you're at work just directly from Canva. And then how I use it the most, you can make a video in Canva. They have a lot of different templates. I'm going to use the YouTube video template. And then again, it gives you a bunch of different, like these are intros. Like when you open YouTube and you click on a YouTube video, most content creators on YouTube have a little graphic intro. Let's say I want to make a tutorial, they have templates for that too. How to study effectively. And then you can use the same template style for every clip that you add after that. And I'm just going to go in and fill these real quick with some graphics and some stickers. That's what the watermark looks like, by the way, for pro stuff. It just says Canva. And then I'm going to go in and I am going to add some transitions, or I'll show you what the transitions look like. Just like on PowerPoint or Windows Movie Maker or whatever you have experience with in the past, this does the same stuff. But I feel like it is a lot more user friendly and intuitive on Canva. You can also add music. A lot of the music, I think all of the music might be pro, but if you have your own music or your own audio, you can upload it and use it in the background. That is always an option. And then you can adjust the volume and the fade and fade in and fade out. BeatSync is a pro feature, but it is an option. And I'm just going to rename that. But that's pretty much all there is to it. Um, if you want to learn more on how to use Canva, and you don't feel like waiting for my next video, you can go to our website, go to resources, and then we have Udemy available to you, and Udemy is an online resource where you have access to all of these classes for free. So there's a bunch of classes on how to use Canva through Udemy, as you can see. And it's the same thing with LinkedIn Learning. There's lots of different video courses in LinkedIn Learning on how to use Canva. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you have any ideas for what I should do next time and what you would like to see me teach you in Canva, feel free to leave some kind of comment, and I'll take that into consideration. I'm really excited to be starting this new series. I use Canva a lot, so I feel like there's a lot that we can go through in this series. Thank you.